ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, we are still reflecting in ayats in Surah Al-Baqarah, and we are in the ayat of divorce and the guidance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us in this process. And again, in Surah Al-Baqarah, this is the most details in a subject that Allah talked about in the surah. In this, and also in the contract, in buying and selling. Okay, that also is so much details. Those are the two subjects, of course, but there is no subject more details about it in Surah Al-Baqarah than subject of Tawheed and the concept of Iman and Kufr and Nifaq. So this ayat is telling us about those who are believers, but then they have to go through, difficulties and how they manage through these difficulties without oppressing or being the oppressor. Okay? And again, Surah Al-Baqarah is the guideline for humanity, if you will, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about the history of belief and what a believer should be, and the guidance, the general guidance and some detailed guidance for the believers. So this unit, family unit, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking care of and give us so much details of the time when the separation happens. We have a microphone. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure.
Which ayah is that?
I'm not sure.
229.
Okay. MashaAllah.
232.
You know how to turn it on? I got it.
Yeah. Brother Jamal did.
Here you go, okay.
And Brother Shah, he confirmed.
It takes 5 people to turn the microphone on. I know.
وإذا طلقتم النساء فبلغن أجلهن فلا تعذلوهن أن ينكحن أزواجهن إذا تراضوا بينهم بالمعروف ذلك يوعظ به من كان منكم يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر ذلكم أزكى لكم وأطهر والله يعلم وأنتم لا تعلمون.
We reflected on it last time.
So we did
Yes.
start 233 then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
والوالدات يرضعن أولادهن حولين كاملين لمن أراد أن يتم الرضاعة وعلى المولود له رزقهن وكسوتهن بالمعروف لا تكلف نفس إلا وسعها لا تضار والدة بولدها ولا مولود له بولده وعلى الوارث مثل ذلك فإن أراد فصالا عن تراض منهما وتشاور فلا جناح عليهما وإن أردتم أن تسترضعوا أولادكم فلا جناح عليكم إذا سلمتم ما آتيتم بالمعروف واتقوا الله واعلموا أن الله بما تعملون بصير.
جزاك الله خيرا.
The mother shall give suck to their children for 2 whole years. For those who desire to complete the term of suckling. But the father of the child shall bear the cost of the mother's food and clothing on a reasonable basis. No person shall have a burden laid on him greater than he can bear. No mother shall be treated unfairly on account of her child. No father on account of his child. And on the here is incumbent the like of that was incumbent on if they both decide on weaning by mutual consent and after due consultation, there is no sin on them. And if you decide on a faster suckling mother for your children, there is no sin for you, provided you pay what you agreed on reasonable basis. And fear Allah and know that Allah is all seer of all you do.
Yes. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Look at the language that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses in this. This is a matter of divorce and there is a child involved, an infant. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used the word ma'roof. Okay, again, ma'roof, that means that which is good and that which is known. The custom and that which everybody is, is familiar with, of kindness. Okay. Taradin, to be pleased. Tashawurin, to consult. Okay. Wattaqullah, and have taqwa in the heart of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not give a burden. Okay, so the burden is lifted. And not just leaving it like that. Burden is lifted upon from the mother. She cannot, have difficulties in this. And also the father. He's taking care of this, but he cannot have, difficulty. Should not have any difficulty in this. Do not put too much pressure on them. It is tenderness and kindness that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is promoting here. Okay? After all, there is a relationship, okay, that was established. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the mithaq, the contract between husband and wife. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks to the husband and say, وَأَخَذْنَ مِنْكُمْ مِيثَاقًا غَلِيظًا, and they took from you a contract that is thick contract. Allah talks about this relationship, this contract, that you enter it with one word or two words. Actually, the contract of marriage, could just a couple of words can be sufficient for a marriage to happen. And you offer and you accept the offer and this is done. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called it mithaq ghalidh. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells that you give, and how could you not give to husband? Okay, when the time that happens, the divorce and so forth, and how could you not do that when you Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts it in a very delicate and beautiful way. When both of you took the boundaries down between you two. Took the boundaries down between you two. Okay? Meaning that you physically you put the boundary down, and emotionally put the boundary down, and you really know each other really well now. Okay? Nobody knows you like she does, and nobody knows her like you do. Okay? How could you not now be kind and nice in such, at such time? So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about an infant. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts a time on this. Time is حولين كاملين. That is حولين, 2 years. كاملين, complete. There is no estimation here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sometimes will give a command and leave it open, sometimes gives a command and gives a couple of words after it to say this is it, to confirm what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, and make sure that the limit is there. So حولين كاملين. So the hawl is a year, so 2 years كاملين, complete, and of course it is a lunar year, not a Gregorian calendar. Our calendar, the moon calendar, two full years. So the child should be weaned after that. Okay. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لِمَنْ أَرَادَ أَن يَتِمَّ الرَّضَاعَ, for the one that wants to finish, complete that time. Okay. A child might not want to complete this and be weaned before that. But a child who wants to do this, and the parents who agreed to do this, you should not, it's encouraged to stay for the 2 years. Okay. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying who's going to be in charge of this. This is going to take time and money and so forth. The husband is in charge of this. Okay? He is the caretaker throughout this process. Okay? And upon him is to give them, take care of them, meaning whatever it is that they need in sustenance during that time, and the covering as well, meaning to cover them, to clothe them and feed them and take care of them during that time. Okay? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, if they, this is with ma'ruf, meaning with that which is known. Again, those who come around in this time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warned them, as the ayat that we talked about last week, that the emotions are high. She's our daughter. Okay, then she has to be dealt with this way and that way. It might push the people around her, her family, to ask for more than what is ma'ruf. Okay, to commands that are not reasonable. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, ma'ruf here now, the word reasonable would be in it as well. Okay? Within reason that everybody agrees around in the area. Okay, whether it is, and you do not command him for something, ask him for something that he cannot afford, nor Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell him, nor you hold back from that which you can afford. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that if you want to seek a witness for the baby, you can do that. Okay? So, there is some harm that will happen for the mother for some reason or another. The baby wants to continue. Okay? Go ahead and if you agree, taradin wa tashawurin, again, to be pleased with the decision between you two. Wa tashawurin, and tashawur is like taking shura. You do not make a decision on your own like that and say this is going to happen like this. No. And tashawurin is opening, so you can take advice of others as well in this matter. Okay? Bring the kindness. Okay? There is a baby involved in here, and the mother that is breastfeeding needs to be in a good condition and taken care of, and so forth. Okay? So it is, you see these words and you see this relationship. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes it as if it is not a divorce, right? It is a good, relationship that has kindness and tenderness in it. Okay? Again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ends by saying taqullah, that they have taqwa to Allah. Okay? Have taqwa meaning protect yourself and being conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You think you have an upper hand here? You think that you can, Allah give you some right so you could abuse your right? Okay, the day will come and you will have no helper and you'll be standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Again, you go back to the beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah, for those who are muttaqun, الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ, those who believe in the unseen. Okay? And within the ayat at the beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah, okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala picks from the unseen, okay, بِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ يُوقِنُونَ, and by in the day of judgment, they are the one who believe in it. It's emphasis like this. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told you already that you are muttaqi, you believe in the unseen. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have chosen from the unseen in the same ayah to talk about the meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And not just saying it as they're going to meet it. وَبِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ يُوقِنُونَ, and by the day of judgment of the hereafter, they believe. But here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the beginning tell you يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ. Iman uses the word iman. But the end of the ayah says hum yuqinun. Yuqinun is more than iman, absolute certainty. And before it the pronoun hum. Okay, so as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah telling us this is the measure now. Okay, throughout the whole surah, throughout the whole Quran, this is the measure. And Allah in the beginning tells this book is guidance for those muttaqun. So in other words, you want to be guided, you have to have this quality, especially about al-akhirah. Okay? If you don't have this in your heart, in your mind, there's nothing that's going to really work out for you. The guidance is not going to be there for you. You're not going to get the guidance. So here's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about, every time we're talking about, the relationship and so forth, taqwa comes in. Taqwa, and you are a muttaqi, look at the very beginning. And then you're going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Remember the ayat when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was talking about husband and wife and how to approach your wife. How a man approaches his wife physically. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قَدِّمُوا لِأَنفُسِكُمْ, present you to yourself. Be tender in this. And then says, and you know you're going to meet Allah. What's meeting Allah has to do with this. You see, even in this, relationship, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, be careful and so forth, because Allah will hold you accountable in this. Okay? Such a language, a tender language and a severe and a warning at the same time. تفضل.
والذين يتوفون منكم ويذرون أزواجا يتربصن بأنفسهن 4 أشهر وعشرا فإذا بلغن أجلهن فلا جناح عليكم فيما فعلن في أنفسهن بالمعروف والله بما تعملون خبير.
Continue.
ولا جناح عليكم فيما أردتم به من خطبة النساء أو أكننتم في أنفسكم علم الله أنكم ستذكرونهن ولكن لا تواعدوهن سرا علم الله أنكم ستذكرونهن ولكن لا تواعدوهن سرا إلا أن تقولوا قولا معروفا ولا تعزموا عقدة النكاح حتى يبلغ الكتاب أجله واعلموا أن الله يعلم ما في أنفسكم فاحذروه واعلموا أن الله غفور حليم.
جزاك الله خير.
And those of you who die and leave wives behind them, they shall wait for 4 months and 10 days. Then when they have fulfilled their term, there is no sin on you if they dispose of themselves in a just and honorable manner. And Allah is well acquainted with what you do. And there is no sin on you if you make a hint of betrothal or conceal it in yourself. Allah knows that you will remember them, but do not make a promise of contract with them in secret except that you speak an honorable saying according to the Islamic law. And do not consummate the marriage until the term prescribed is fulfilled. And know that Allah knows what is in your minds, and fear Him, and know that Allah is of forgiving, most forbearing.
Yes. Here's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives information about if the separation happened because of death, due to death, that the husband died. So the iddah is 4 months and 10 days. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said so. What is the wisdom behind that? Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a'lam. Okay? So there is something special about that. Okay? Meaning that for the womb to be clear at the time of divorce, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives 3 menses. But the time of death, it is more than that. So it is not just a matter of the womb clear of pregnancy. No, it is more than that. It is a relationship. Meaning that the relationship is severed or separated not due to argument, not due to problems. No, the relationship could be fine, beautiful, close, and so forth, and then the husband dies. So there is an attachment there. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives 4 months and 10 days for that to settle. Okay. And then when that reaches, or that woman reaches that time, then she is now away from the iddah, or out of this iddah, so she's available to get married now. Okay, she is available, and there are those who can come and ask her, ask for her hand in marriage and so forth. But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, subhanallah, talks about, what if, okay, what if, and this what if could be, yes, it's not just rare, it happens, that a man knows about this woman and he wants to get married to her, okay, and she's about to finish the iddah, okay. You cannot offer, you cannot make a suggestion or not a suggestion, you cannot ask for her hand in marriage during that time. You cannot say, when the iddah is this, I am ready for you, and we want her hand in marriage and so forth, when the iddah is over, you cannot do that either. Okay? You cannot come out and do that. The time of the iddah, at the time of when the husband died, you're not allowed to do that. You cannot, come out and ask to marry her in the open like this before the iddah is over. But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, but Allah knows, okay, that you really want to marry her. Allah knows that you really interested, and maybe you're afraid that somebody else will be there and make the offer and so forth. But you are prohibited from to say it clearly, but go ahead and hint. Okay, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about the emotion and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not want to suffocate us. What is it that you want? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala encourages to come out. Okay, this is a pleasure that Allah put in you to seek. However, it should be guided. It should be guided, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you the guidance. And when the time that you cannot really keep it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opens a little bit, saying, لا جناح عليكم فيما عرضتم به من خطبة النساء. There is no blame on you for what you hint, okay, in the khutbah of women, at this condition, okay. Like you can go, and give condolences and so forth, and this, and you are, mashallah, you're a good woman, and many men would like to have a woman like you or something like, and that's it. But do not ask, do not stop there, do not go more than that. Okay. and saying, and do not talk to her in secret. No. Okay, there's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warning about this. Okay? And then you're going to make the time of the nikah. Okay, it's coming now to the end and so forth. Okay? And you don't rush this. You don't rush this. If it is a day or two, no. Even if it's just a short time like this, you do not make another contract, a new contract, before the old one is done. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warning, just don't ask why is this and what difference is this and what day it's going to make a difference and so forth. No. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling you this is the limit, this is the limit. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Halim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us He's forbearing. Okay, another word, you take this attribute, you just be patient and be forbearing in this. Okay, just follow the direction that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you. Okay, and this is the barakah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give. Okay, and I'm going to add this here, especially if the woman has children. Okay, this is not mentioned in the ayah, but it is when a woman who has her husband dies and she has children under age, she has orphans now. Orphan in the fiqh is the kids under age that are that they lost their father. I know in the Western world, orphan meaning does not have a mother or a father, neither one. But no, in Arabic, in the fiqh, is the one who loses the father would be an orphan. Okay, and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Ana wa kafil al-yatim kahatayn." I and the one who take care of an orphan like this in Jannah, and put the two fingers together. Okay, so in a society, a Muslim society, that is a pious society, when a woman, her husband died, and she has babies with her and children, people will be waiting in line. Men will be waiting in line for this. Okay, why? Because this is a door open that you'll be close to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay. So taking care of an orphan is something that is so huge. And now when you marry her, now you are really the caretaker of the children. Okay? So the value of this is so much. So imagine a woman now with all these restrictions that Allah has given, and she has babies, and that men are going to be, competing in this. Okay? And that is to show us that there are many reasons for marriage, okay, to get married. Okay, meaning that the Western mind that is being, manipulated and changing here and there and so forth, tells you that marriage is because of what? For what? Why do you want to get married to this particular woman, or why she is marrying you? Love. That's all, right? That attraction. No, there are many reasons why marriage and the societies throughout history build marriage different things. Okay, there is a relationship. Is not between two individuals here. It's going to be between families. It's going to be between tribes. It's going to be, there are a lot of dynamics goes in the society when it is a sound society and a pious society in marriage. Okay. I was just talking the other day. My grandfather, from my father's side, he died before I was born. Okay, and when I was growing up, I know his wife. right? Okay, so my step grandmother, okay, and so I was told, what does that mean? What happened, right? So my grandmother died. So my grandfather, as he's an old man, was looking for a wife to take care of him. Okay, so he found this woman who is basically alone, meaning does not have much family, and he wants to take her in, and she is younger than him, and she will be taking care of him, and he will be taking care of her. That's a beautiful match. Has nothing to do with anything else. Like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when his second wife, okay, who was his second wife? The second wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sauda radiallahu anha. Sauda radiallahu anha, right? Okay. When Khadija radiallahu anha died, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a child with him, Fatima radiallahu anha. Okay. And so he needed to get married to someone to take care of Fatima, right? So Sauda radiallahu anha, from among those who went to Abyssinia, okay, and her husband left Islam, okay, and she came back to Mecca, and now her family will not take her. She's a Muslim, and the family of her husband also are not Muslim. Okay, so here is a woman by herself. Rasulullah ﷺ took her in, married her. Okay, she's a lot older. Okay, and to give you an idea, okay, when Rasulullah ﷺ married Aisha radiallahu anha after Hijrah, Sauda was with him. Sauda gave her nights to Aisha. That gives you a hint, right? Sauda gave her nights to Aisha. So in other words, that the nights that Rasulullah ﷺ would be spending with Sauda, some of these nights, Sauda said, no, some of these nights you can go to Aisha. Because she had a very good relationship with Aisha. They used to joke around and so forth and so on, right? And so she was not interested much in the physical relationship and so. This is hints that you could see from there, okay? So what was that relationship? It's an honorable relationship, taking care of each other and so forth, in a need and so forth, right? So my grandfather married, and then this woman, and then there was a girl orphan in town. They took her in. Okay, took her the orphan. So now my grandfather is very old, okay, and was about to die, and now there's a little girl came into the family here with an older woman now, or not quite old, okay, and my grandfather died. So now you have two females, a mother and a daughter, but they're not a mother and a daughter, and they do not have each other. They do not have anyone except each other. You understand? Of course, my father was taking care of her, of his stepmother now. Okay, and he used to take me as a child and go visit her every once in a while and make sure that she's okay and so forth, right? And you have this beautiful relationship now, a woman raising this child. And now as she got old, this child got older, and now she is the one who's taking care of this woman. Okay? And you see how it is happening, such a beautiful way. And she took her to Hajj. Okay? And so forth. Okay. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, again to this ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not want to suppress our emotions. But at the same time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not allow it to get wild. Okay? But there is boundaries there. And there is these boundaries, sometimes you find the boundaries yourself with the fitra, right? The fitra, you can detect the boundaries, okay? You do not go to a woman and be, forward with her immediately and so forth. You know that there is boundaries here and so forth. But there are sometimes boundaries that you do not detect, like 4 months and 10 days. How can you figure that out yourself? You can't. So this boundary has to be given to you. And it has to be, put up for you like this, clearly like that, so you can be within these boundaries. An animal does not need any boundaries like that to be given to them. They do not have aql. Allah put these boundaries within them. Within them. Okay? You find, the animals will mate at a certain time. And then they stop mating. Once the female is pregnant, or about to lay an egg, or, you find these desires and so forth. It has a certain time, then it stops and so forth, without the animals being taught this. Why? Because the instincts is programmed. But since Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us aql, an intellect, then the instincts is not programmed. You have to use your aql now to see what is right or what is wrong. What is proper and what is not proper. Okay? So because you have aql, you need guidance. The Western mind does not understand that. The Western mind thinks that you have aql, you can figure out things yourself. You're not an animal. It's just the opposite. As we say, the philosopher who says what? I think, therefore I am. Wow. Okay? We say, I think, therefore I need guidance. Right? I think, therefore I need guidance. Because when Allah gives us this to think with, that means you are capable of causing harm. Once you have this, you are capable of causing harm. And since you do not surround everything with your knowledge, then you need guidance. Because if you have choice, you have intellect, therefore you have a choice. And we have a choice, that means you weigh things, harms and benefit. And since you don't know, then you need guidance, because it's impossible for you to have all the knowledge to be able to make the right decision. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala leave you alone with that which you can figure out yourself, and tell you, do it with ma'roof. Right? With ma'roof. Another word, go ahead. You can figure that out. You have limitation here, but you can figure it out. But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala some other time says, no, this is a limit. Okay, because you need this as human being for humanity to continue in a pure way. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين الحمد لله رب العالمين. If you'd like to make any comments, inshallah.
Yeah, I have a question. You mentioned about orphan, and you mentioned that according to it is when a person loses his or her dad.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the age? Is it puberty or what is the age of that?
The age is maturity. Okay? So what does maturity mean? Is it physical or mental? Both. Both. Okay? So, meaning that someone, a child, a boy can be physically mature. In other words, he can get married and have a child. But yet, he's not mature. His mind is not quite sound to be able to make a decision soundly. Okay? So it is a judgment of those around to say, now this person, for example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you take care of the orphan, you take care of their wealth, do not give them their wealth. You take care of them. But in آنستم منهم رشدا, and if you sense that they reach rushd, if you sense it, okay, then go ahead, give them their money. In other words, it is a decision that you make. If this child now is not a child anymore, can make a sound decision with his wealth and not destroy it and so forth, then go ahead, give him the wealth. So it is a matter of judgment. It's not a clear age, you say once you reach this age, nor a clear physical sign. Of course, the age and physical sign has to do with it, but the final decision, it is when you sense that they are mature. Wallahu a'lam.
I have another question. When you read, you said Ghafurun Halim. Sometimes I use this word like Ghafir, Ghafur, Ghaffar. Are they